quando ti ho visto la prima volta, già sentivo che eri mio, tutto quello che sono.
Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of Chiba's Sugo Sunday. I'm Gabby Musacchio.
And I'm Ovi Galasso.
Today we're going to be bringing you a really fun themed dinner for Easter. We're going to be talking about food from more of a southern region. Why don't you give us a little taste of what's going on?
So we're gonna do, like they say in Italian, meridionale, meaning all southern, central southern Italian Easters. It's a very traditional Italian Easter, and I'll talk about even the time frame as well as why I was inspired to do certain dishes. We'll get into that in a few minutes.
And what's really fun is that this year we can actually have people gathered around our table. So I'll take you through a really fun tablescape idea, super simple, with really fun ideas on how to make it affordable as well.
Great.
Before we get started, we just want to thank our sponsors for this episode, which include Le Creuset Canada, Darren Carmusino Wealth Management, FruitDome, Fruiterie Milano, Bono, Ninian De Luca, Zinman, and Maison Lipari.
As well as Marina Del Rey, BMW Laval, Seat, JPMA, FCCI, Raymond, Shabbat, Grant Thornton, Saggio, and Iacovino.
So since we're planning to host this year, and I know you probably are like me, I like to do things that I can make ahead, that are no fuss once my guests arrive. So you're gonna kind of take us through a meal that we can prepare ahead, put in the oven, and then have nothing to do once people get home to our house, right?
That's right. One of the dishes we picked was doing conchiglie, an oven-baked pasta. Now, it all depends what region you're from, what kind of pastas. I grew up eating manicotti on Easter, so it was a crepe stuffed with ricotta and spinach. My mom is from Campobasso, my father's from Caserta, so my mom's side would always be lamb, and my dad's side would always be goat.
Yeah.
So to make it easier today, we're gonna be doing some lamb.
I mean, I guess that's what's classic too. A lot of people associate lamb with Easter.
Yeah,
so.
they associate lamb with Easter because it's spring, the spring lamb.
Right.
It's fresh, new beginnings, roasting. You know, like it's.
And it's something you're gonna marinate, prepare ahead, and then put in the oven.
So easy.
Super easy.
So easy.
And to start, what are we having?
So to start, we're gonna do. I decided to go a route that is another big pasta called conchiglie. Okay. Now
So
the reason
shells.
why, the shells.
Yeah.
They're gonna be stuffed with ricotta and spinach. The reason I went that, it's maybe more the 80s kids, the 90s kids will remember that because it was a trend. It was trending. Even though back in the day we didn't have social media, there was some sort of a trending thing. And I remember earlier, prior to that, we used to always do the manicotti or the cannellonis. But at one point, everyone was doing the stuffed conchiglie. So
it's fun.
It's fun, you know?
Especially for kids. It's fun.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So you're going to take us through what you make, how you make the stuffing, what you put together to make the stuffing, and then how you put it together.
Exactly. So we're going to do the stuffing. We're going to do the bechamel to go on top of it. I'm not going to go through the tomato sauce because everyone knows how to make a basic.
Everyone has their own way of doing the tomato sauce.
So the basic tomato sauce, and then that's it. And then I'll show you how to pop it in the oven.
So what are your main ingredients for your stuffing? Let's start with that maybe
so
here.
Basically, it's going to be very simple. It's going to be garlic.
Yep.
Spinach. We're going to wilt the garlic and the spinach in olive oil.
Okay.
We're going to drain it.
Okay.
Fresh ricotta.
Okay.
And Parmigiano.
It's a full fat ricotta.
Yeah, the full
right?
fat.
Okay.
Full fat. And the Parmigiano to dry it up a bit to help it hold a little bit more. And it's going to be perfect. And maybe a little bit of nutmeg. I like to go a little bit of nutmeg.
I like nutmeg too, especially when there's bechamel or something. I like nutmeg.
I like nutmeg. And some people like to put lemon. I don't. I'm very traditional. I just go straight up nutmeg. And that's it. Very simple stuffing. Spinach, ricotta, Parmigiano, garlic.
So I mean, at the end of the day, people can also make this regional to how they cook as well, right?
Yeah.
You put nutmeg, some people put lemon.
Yeah.
You kind of got to make it your own, but the basics of it, spinach, ricotta, garlic, Parmigiano.
And you know what we call this?
Tell me.
The term is called ripieno di magro. Okay, magro, because on Fridays was il giorno di magro,
right.
And magro is the day that you sustain from eating meats.
Right. Okay.
So the ripieno di magro always stayed in the classic Italian cuisine, and every time we say we're doing a stuffing, do me a ripieno di magro, in our culinary terms, it means that, meaning a meatless stuffing.
And we'll keep the meat for the secondo.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Let's get to it.
We're going to be doing a basic sauce. It's a mother sauce called bechamel. Now, bechamel is Italian. I know a lot of people don't think it's Italian, but it is Italian. It's from the northern part of Italy. It's part of our culture in the Emilia-Romagna and all those regions in the north. And basically, it's a sauce made from milk, flour, and butter. And what it is it thickens up, it becomes creamy, but also as well, it makes a nice coating and it protects your pasta from getting burnt. Gives you a creamy texture, and it gives that gratiné finish that people think that it's usually it's mozzarella or it's some other type of cheese. You know, I think it does a really good job and it finishes the dish so beautiful. So what you're going to need to use is we're going to have some butter, flour, nutmeg. You're going to need a spoon to see it for a coating, a whisk to whisk in the milk, a little bit of salt, and that's it. So we're going to start off with this, with the butter. It's 30 grams of butter and 30 grams of flour for half a liter of milk. What you want to do is melt the butter, not burn it. So there's 3 types of roux. I'm just going to give you a little lesson quick. You got a white roux, like a blonde roux. You got a brown roux, and you have a dark roux. A dark roux is a little bit more used, very rare, more for sauces that you're going to be seeing that are like veal-based and stuff like that. Now, you want to get it blonde, okay? Like basically melt the butter. Once the butter starts being fully melted, off the fire, you remove it out of the fire, you add your flour, you mix it in, and then you put it back on the fire, okay? So that's what we're going to do right now. Butter must be fully melted. Here we go. So off the fire, you add the flour, you mix it in off the fire, like this, to incorporate all the butter. So, and now we bring it back to the flour and the butter on the stove, and we're gonna cook it a bit. Now this is what people don't like about bechamel, okay? Is that the flour hasn't cooked enough. And it has this little pastiness, a little bit of an ugliness because they didn't cook it properly. And that's the whole problem with this dish that a lot of people don't like. If it's done well, you'd love this, okay? So in this, we're doing the roux in a Le Creuset pot, okay? And once you mix it in, okay, I'm doing a hot roux with cold milk. If you do both of them hot, what happens is they lump up. Okay, one of them has to be cold. One of the items has to be cold. It's either the roux or the milk, okay? Now, if you come in closer here and you see the roux is foaming the flour, and it's foaming and it's bubbling, and this is a good indication to add your milk, okay? The milk, you're gonna add it in with a whisk, okay? So now we put away the whisk, we broke up all the flour, and we're gonna move it back and forth with a wooden spoon. The wooden spoon is gonna be there to stop it from sticking on medium to low heat, okay? And we're gonna move it back and forth once in a while just to get the thickness and to see where the thickness is with the wooden spoon, at the same time that the flour and the butter doesn't sink to the bottom and burns, because that's what a lot of people do. There's 2 tricks of doing this. One of my favorite ways of doing is putting a lid on it and putting it in the oven for 25 minutes to 45 minutes. Sometimes it comes out just perfect. You pull it out, nothing burnt, everything thickened properly. It has a great taste and it's fully cooked. Or you can finish it on the stove for a good 20 minutes on the stove, but you're gonna have to be more careful because you're gonna have to watch the flame and go back and forth and stir like that. Another thing I like to put inside is a little bit of salt. Now will be time to put the salt. A little bit of nutmeg. And you could add a piece of garlic inside to infuse. You can even put rosemary if you want. You can put whatever you want. But rosemary would be a little bit too aggressive for the pasta, okay? Just keep it basic like that. Right now, we're gonna stir it. It's not ready yet. It should cook a little bit more. in a pan. This is a Le Creuset pan. We're going to be adding olive oil, and we're going to be wilting the spinach in here. Now, very important, we're going to add garlic. Always try to go medium to high heat. I cut my garlic in bâtonnets because that's the way I am. You could remove it after. You could put whole ones. So once it's closed, once you get enough heat, shut the flame off. Come to the inside, and you have wilted spinach here like this. So basically what you want to see is just that the spinach is fully wilted. The water is going to start releasing. You can move away the garlic. You could move away the garlic from the batch, and you're going to leave it get cold. And what we're going to do next is going to take the spinach. It's just wilted, very soggy. All the waters are coming out. We're going to squeeze the water out of it, and we're going to mix it with ricotta and parmigiano. Here right now is you're stirring it. I did it on the stove top, okay? So once you start seeing boiling, you let it cook a little bit more. You see it's thick like this, okay? We're going to pass it through a sieve to get out all the little lumps maybe that may have inside it, okay? It's normal that it has lumps. And then what you do is, what you want, and you come close, is that's called nappage. When the two sides do not rejoin, means it's thick enough. If the liquids start touching and they come together, it's not thick enough. It hasn't thickened enough. This is perfect thickness. And if we add cheese to this, we call it a mornay. So you could add parmigiano to it if you want right now. It will be very, very good. And it's going to help also melt and blend in. I'm actually going to add a little bit of parmigiano inside. Right now, I'm passing the sauce through a fine sieve to make sure that there's no more lumps. And I just go through it like this. I'll remove the garlic at the same time, and that's it, okay? Now, once this is done, go clean all the stuff that's at the bottom over here. It's a beautiful bechamel. I love bechamel. And what we could do is you could whisk in just a little bit of cheese right now. People like to cook it. I just think it's just gonna whisk in nice while it's hot. And it's gonna blend in and give it a little bit more flavor and umami, because Parmigiano has all that umami flavor. And it's gonna help color a little bit more too. So I think I'm gonna call in Gabby because she's setting up the table, and I'd like to show her how I put this all together.
Okay, I'm back. Tell me how we put this together, because I'm smelling it from my dining room and it smells unbelievable.
So I did some wilted spinach.
Okay.
I chopped it beforehand, I sauteed it, I took out the water. I'm gonna add some ricotta.
So the ricotta you got from
Milano.
Okay.
Yeah, the Parmigiano as well.
Okay.
The spinach from Bono.
Okay, very nice.
And
a little mix of our local favorites.
Local favorites. We'll add a little bit of salt. Okay. For taste. A little bit of nutmeg again.
Okay.
And sirapel, like they say in French.
Yes. So this is for the stuffing that you're going to be piping
exactly.
into shells.
The ripieno di magro.
Ripieno di magro.
So that's it. We're going to do this. Parmigiano. I did myself a bechamel that you've been smelling since over there.
I've been smelling it for the last 20 minutes. It smells delicious.
And we're going to mix it all up, and we're going to put it in a piping bag. Okay, and just mix it all up, mash it all up until it's homogeneous.
Yeah.
And
you could smell this. I know I say this on every episode, but they need to invent smell-o-vision because this is just unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's it. Now it's nice and mixed.
And simple and easy. That's the beauty of Italian cooking, is that it's simple and easy.
And this is, like you said, you do this a day in advance.
Yeah.
it's even better. So you do the stuffing,
soak the
everything,
flavors.
the night before, then the next day, boom, just in the oven.
And those who know me know that my favorite recipes for hosting are always the ones that you can make ahead because you kind of want to be a host when you've got people over. So
Exactly.
it lets you do that.
So that's it. Now we're gonna put it in a piping bag. I'm gonna bring over the pasta. I'm not gonna show you how to pre-cook the pasta. The instructions on the bags are it's a given. I'm not gonna show you the tomatoes, but the tomatoes we did get from Nini and DeLuca. That's
but
right.
the pasta, do you undercook them a little bit?
Well, on the
them al
package,
dente?
they do a lot of research and development. Okay, and if it says 12 minutes, go for the 12 minutes. Buy a good brand that's gonna have a good tooth to it, a nice al dente pasta.
Okay.
You could go a minute under, but I'm gonna give you a little trick. Okay.
Tell me.
So one of the things that I like to do, and it's an unwritten rule, and I only do this for oven-baked pastas, is cool them off in cold water. Now you stop
okay.
the water, you
To
stop
stop
the
the
cooking. It removes all the starchiness from around it,
Okay.
and it's going to be much more easier to fill. But it's a rule. When you do lasagna,
Yeah, I do that with my lasagna
you
sheets,
see?
I was gonna say.
You're right. So
Okay.
everything that goes in the oven, lasagna, fazzoletti, manicotti, like whatever it is, the pre-cooked pasta, because it's gonna double bake, you have
the
to
oven, yeah.
So it's okay to remove that. If we were doing a penne or a spaghetti, never. It's a sin. It's a sin. You know. But for an oven-baked pasta, that is an unwritten rule that must be done.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
It's good little tips we gotta
Yeah.
have because not everyone knows that.
So that's it. Now I'm gonna come back.
Let's pipe it up. Okay, so you started on it a little bit. You've got your cooked pasta here. You layered the bottom of an oven dish with sauce, which you made
tomato
from
sauce.
canned tomatoes from Nini and DeLuca.
That's
correct?
right,
Okay.
yeah.
And now you're just gonna finish it up by stuffing the shell. Show us how you do it.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is I took the piping bag.
Can I have a taste?
Yeah.
I gotta let you know if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's good.
So what I do is I got the shells. You could get different sizes. These are very small. You might have to do more if you get the smaller ones because people like to eat a lot of this.
Yeah.
Or you could get just the bigger ones and put 3. You know.
It's true because they have different sizes of
They
them.
have different sizes. And you know what? Just fill them up, and people are gonna like it. You don't have to do decorative.
With a generous filling.
A
You
generous
want to get
filling.
a mouthful of that delicious goodness.
You know. Yeah.
And obviously all on one layer.
Yeah. All in one layer, and that's it. So now once that's done, it's soaking in. I'm gonna put a little bit of basil from FruitDome.
That smells really good too.
Okay, just rip it
And
up.
you tear it because that's how
Yeah.
the flavors come out too,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
I know a thing or two.
And now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna layer it with the bechamel.
Look at that creamy goodness.
Okay. So what you'd like to do is just go across each one and make sure that they're layered.
Got you.
And I like to leave sometimes because I like the burnt ones, right? I don't know.
Who doesn't?
I know. I love
The
it.
crunchy ones.
The little crunchy ones. I like to have it, and I love. You know what? I'm a southerner, but I love bechamel, and she would do it once in a while. My grandmother.
It's more of a northern thing, right?
Yeah,
the
it's a
bechamel?
northern thing, but you know what? It works. It works very well, and it marries in
But
very
see,
well.
but that's the
with
beauty
our
of
culture.
I think Easter too, culturally, because there are classic dishes. Like I know my fiance's family does the pizza piena. There's certain things that you make seasonally, which this might not be one of them, but you know that's the beauty of Italian cooking. And this is from the north, another recipe is from the south. So.
You know, like the bechamel mixes in with our culture from the south as well. You know what I mean? It's a northern dish. It's a northern sauce, but it ties in well with the southern parts. And you know, at the end we just put a little bit of Parmigiano.
Because there's never enough cheese.
Never enough Parmigiano.
Never enough cheese.
We're gonna cover it up, okay, and put it in aluminum foil on it.
Okay.
I'd like to put parchment paper first, then aluminum foil.
And why is that?
So what happens is the humidity melts the aluminum foil.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and sometimes the aluminum foil, you'll find pieces of aluminum on your food, which annoys me. So I learned a long time ago. One of my chefs says you put parchment paper first.
Okay.
We ventilate one side. We close it with aluminum foil. We put it in the oven. For 20 minutes we bake it, and then after we remove it for 15 minutes, and we bake it at 375 until it gets nice and colored.
Colors, okay.
So now these are gonna expand, they're gonna take, volume, and it's gonna be perfect, okay? So this is it.
Let's go, let's bake it.
Yep.
Okay, on to the main, the lamb,
Yeah.
which is like the prized part of this meal, I
Yeah.
would say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so walk us through it. What type of cuts? How you ask for it at your butcher? We got ours from Zinman. So how do we do this?
So when you want cut, you want it about half an inch to an inch thick cut in small pieces. And usually it goes by half a lamb, quarter lamb,
Okay.
or full lamb.
So
Okay?
let's say you're 6 people. We have our table set for 6. What would you ask for?
Listen, whenever I order lamb, I tell the butcher I would like for a family of 6, a family of 4,
Okay.
and I would like the lamb cut up. And usually they go by half a lamb, and they cut into pieces, and you get a little bit of the shoulder, a little bit of the ribs, a little bit of the leg, and it can vary. You could actually ask for, if you're just going to be a family of 4, you could ask for just the leg and slice into pieces.
Okay.
It's going to do the job.
So basically, best tip is you go to Zinman, you say, hey, we're 6 people. I need lamb to make this recipe.
For Easter.
And they'll take care of it.
And they'll take care of it.
Okay, and this cut is what? What do you say? It's abbacchio?
We call it the abbacchio cut. Now, abbacchio in Italian, it's Roman, means a lamb that's been castrated. Okay?
Beautiful, lovely.
So abbacchio is that they gain a little bit more weight, they have a little bit more fat content and everything.
Okay.
And that's why we call it abbacchio. So it's like an abbacchio cut, all cut into little pieces.
Okay.
It could be from anywhere of the animal, and this is the pieces we got. We got this one from the leg. We're using the leg today.
Okay.
And now I'm gonna marinate it with some herbs from FruitDome.
Okay.
So we got, I like to go full rosemary sometimes,
Yeah.
but this time I was feeling a little bit different, so we were gonna go with a little bit of thyme,
Okay.
lots of parsley,
Okay.
and maybe a touch of mint just to bring out that part of
sweetness,
the
almost a
sweetness
little bit.
of the lamb. You understand?
Very nice. Yeah, this is what's going to bring the
Yeah.
freshness to the
Yeah.
dish. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have the color.
A little bit of garlic.
Okay.
Salt.
Yeah,
Olive oil.
yeah.
So we have a little bit of wine that we're going to be getting. We got from our sponsor Jacovino.
Okay.
And it's a Vermentino, a Tuscan wine.
Okay.
And I'd like to put a little bit inside there. So this as well. I cut.
So what does the wine do in this recipe, just
So-
so we understand?
We put olive oil, we put wine. It helps marinate the meat.
Okay.
It gives it a little bit of flavor. It helps tenderize the meat a little bit.
Okay.
And what I do is overnight, I cut all my herbs, wine, olive oil, I mix it all together.
Okay.
I leave it in the fridge overnight,
Okay.
and then the next day, just pop it in the
With the
oven.
meat. So you marinate it overnight.
Yep.
Which again is the easiest thing to do when you're hosting because you all prepared it and then when you're ready to serve, it goes in the oven and you let it do its thing, right?
That's it.
Okay, great. So it's white wine though.
White
obviously,
wine, yeah.
Not red.
Not red. You could go red, but I wouldn't go red. I would go white with this. It's much more
fresh.
fresh. It's acidic. It's very, very nice.
Okay.
As well as I put a potato once in a while inside, so that does the contorno, meaning it cooks with a potato
For the sides.
for the sides. Yeah.
But the potato you don't put it when you marinate the night
no,
before?
you put it the same day.
The same day.
So you peel it, cut it, put it in the same day,
Okay.
and so like this it doesn't oxidize.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could just cook it all together. Make sure that it's heavily seasoned with olive oil,
Okay.
salt, herbs, garlic, and some wine.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Let's do
all
it.
right?
Yeah, so let's dress this up now.
Yeah, we're gonna dress it up. We're gonna put a little bit of garlic.
So you just chopped up all the herbs together.
Yeah, herbs, the garlic like we did before,
Okay.
and some herbs like this.
As easy as that.
Yep, a little bit of salt. I like enough salt, especially if there's the fatty parts, because I find the fatty parts in the salt. But that's me. I like fatty and salty foods. And now you do a little thumb thing on the front,
A little thumb thing.
and you go like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Take the olive oil.
So you're not drenching it in the wine.
No.
You're just sprinkling some
But you
wine.
make sure you sprinkle wine enough, and you put enough olive oil because this is gonna help cook it at a low temperature.
Okay.
Okay. So now once that's done, you can give it a nice little mix. We put enough salt. Put a little more salt.
Just in case.
In case we mix, we had a potato inside, and everything.
Use your hands. Don't be shy. Get in there.
Get in there, exactly. And you give it enough space. You don't overdo it. It's gonna cook. I like using the term with all the olive oil and everything. It's gonna cook in its own juice.
Yeah.
And cooking in its own liquids is actually called confit in French.
Okay.
So you put that in. So you can have the sides, and then that's it. This is what you have here as a.
So it's pretty much on one layer. We'll
Yeah.
just show this, that it's all like on one nice layer so it cooks evenly. We're using a Le Creuset cast iron oven dish, which is going to conduct heat very nicely,
Very
right?
evenly,
So
yeah.
what do you have the oven set to?
So the oven, I like to set it at 325 Fahrenheit.
Okay.
I'd like to cover it again with aluminum foil, maybe even a parchment paper before.
Okay.
And I like to cook it for at least an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, all depending on the thickness.
Okay.
Now you check it after an hour and a half, an hour and a half, you check, and then you see if it's tender. You know, you could even go inside and turn them, make sure that the potatoes cook as well. You turn the potatoes as well, and you make sure that everything's nicely cooked properly. And that's it. And then after you let it rest, you can remove the lid, the cover, sorry, the aluminum foil, and you can let it get colored.
Okay.
And once it comes out, it may dry up, but when it dries up, it's okay because the under part is going to be so moist and pink and joyous that you're going to put it back on the other side, and it's going to come back all to life.
Okay, so basically, while you're having cocktails, you're having your first course.
Yeah.
This is cooking. So you really, it's hands off.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Great.
Okay, let's put this in the oven.
Yep, I'm going to put this in the oven.
We're about to taste the pasta, and I'm so excited because it smells so good. Look at that golden perfection. See the bubbles?
So now, you should always let it rest a bit before serving it, but we're a little bit savage.
And a little bit hungry.
Yeah.
We've only been smelling this for a little bit now.
So look how cute it is when you go grab one at a time.
It's
like
cute.
that. It's so cute. And look at that.
So
The
you
little
serve
plates.
like 3-4 of these on
Yeah,
a
I will put
dish?
3 in a dish. We'll
Okay.
do something like that. And
4 for the really hungry
yeah.
people.
And you could grab some sauce at the bottom.
Oh,
And just go around here like that.
nice. And if you want, you add extra cheese.
Extra cheese. And that's it.
Look at this. Perfection. Okay, do I get to try this now?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay. I brought us 2 forks, so we'll share.
Okay, good. We'll share.
Okay, here we go.
Just make
Might
sure
burn
it's
my
not-
mouth. We'll blow on it a bit.
We'll blow on it, yeah.
Oh, but you could see everything's just melting together so beautifully.
Yeah.
My mouth is watering.
Very good. Classic.
That's
Simple.
delicious. Can't go wrong. Find me someone who doesn't like that. I dare you. Okay, so sides that we've got going on for our main. We've got the potatoes that are cooking with the lamb.
Yep.
And just a basic side salad, green salad. Sometimes you just want something fresh and light.
Yep.
So what'd you put in here?
So here it's red leaf, green leaf, radicchio. You could put a little bit of frisee if you find.
Okay.
You know, you could put some frisee.
Yep.
And then dressing, simple. Salt,
Yep.
red wine vinegar, and olive oil.
That's it.
That's it.
Don't complicate it.
But like heavily oiled
Nicely
and
dressed.
exactly.
So you go in, mix it
Yeah.
with your hands.
I go with my hands.
Sometimes when you massage it in, it actually gives better flavor to the
Yeah,
salad.
because you feel where all the oil went
Yeah.
and all the
Don't be shy.
salt went.
Just wash your hands.
Yeah, that's it. So,
So now we're going to transfer it into this bowl. This is where you can have fun with your decorating and your serveware. You know, find yourself something themed. Like I've got my little bunnies going on here, and it kind of just ties the whole thing together, especially when it's for a holiday like Easter. So we're going to serve it in like that.
That's it.
It looks cute. It looks delicious. So we're ready with the salad. Put that aside, and I think I smell the lamb ready.
yeah,
Let's
it's
take
ready.
it out and check it out. Smells and looks delicious.
So now
There you
I'm gonna
go.
take it out. So this is it. So what we're gonna do is,
Looks nice and juicy.
see,
Look at that. So this we serve it family style. Pass around the table.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could serve it formally too on a dish, but like in good traditional Italian fashion, we serve it family style.
That's right.
Pass around at the table, right?
yeah. You got some of your potatoes to go with your salad, so you can put them on the end.
Best with all the juices in it. To me, there's no other way to roast potatoes. You got to roast it with the meat you're
Yeah.
cooking it with.
And flavor goes in.
It's just the best. In case you can't tell, I think we're
Yeah.
both salivating over
Yeah.
here.
And then if you want to decorate it, just go with a little bit of old school
Parsley.
parsley. Do a little bit here, like that. A little bit there.
Some freshness.
And that's it, it's done. And if you know what, I like this. I like to do this.
The best part. That's unreal. Okay, so now that the meal's ready, I'm gonna take them into the dining room, show them what I did to set the table, and I wanna show you, like I said before, a little trick on how to do a really nice centerpiece. So we'll do that, and then we'll see you at the table.
Great.
Okay, so before we head to the table, we're gonna prepare a centerpiece. We are going super simple with this, and it's gonna look like $1,000,000, I promise you. So it's springtime, which means that the flowers that you can now find as easily as at Costco are gonna be in full bloom. We're gonna work with tulips. I love using tulips for Easter because I just think it's really the flower of spring. So here I've got a pack of tulips. I got some what we call wax flowers, and these really pretty buds, which are called lysianthus. So what we're gonna do is I've got little bud vases here, and I'm gonna let you in on a trade secret, my little secret for bud vases to make it super affordable. Because what I like to do when setting a table is spend my money on my dishware, a nice tablecloth, some good napkins, good wine glasses, but I'm not a huge believer that your centerpiece should cost a fortune. So what I do is I go thrifting for my bud vases. Thrift shops, literally your local thrift shops. This might have cost me 50 cents. I think I got these at IKEA. So basically my whole centerpiece is gonna come together for about a total of $30. I promise you, it's a really good trick. So basically you're gonna take your tulips. I just take off the first few layers of leaves over here. You wanna clean it up a little bit so they don't look too full. And then you're gonna cut them to the height of your bud vase and just place it in like that. Literally as easy as that. What I like to do is add in maybe a little bit of the wax flower to give a little more volume, like that, and it's pretty and delicate and easy. So I'm gonna do the same thing here with the lysianthus. Just plop them in, I filled them with water, and then I'll repeat that until they're all filled up. So I'm gonna do all my bud vases. I like to fill it up because that's where you get the effect, is when you have a lot of these. Intersperse some votive candles, which you can find on Amazon, at Walmart, and then make your table speak with the actual place setting. Let's go to my dining room and I'll show you how it's done. So welcome to my dining room. I have everything all set up. I just plugged in the flowers that I showed you how to do. And my table setting is relatively simple. Everything you see here in terms of the actual table setting is from Maison Lipari. And I'm gonna take you through it because this is where I like to invest, is on what people will be eating on. So here I went with the kind of green and white theme. Again, brings the whole concept of spring together. I went with a really nice Jacquard Français tablecloth from Maison Lipari. And then I went with just really classic white dishes. They do have a nice little detailing on them, but these could very well be your everyday dishes. So very easy when you're setting your table, as long as your details speak volumes, which is what I did here. So we've got a nice charger. I never set a table without a charger when I'm doing a formal meal. I just find it brings everything together. It makes the place setting look a little more important. So I just invest in a few different types of chargers. These ones are plastic, and then I just use them interchangeably depending on the event that I'm hosting in my dining room. So like I said, charger, dishes, appetizer dish. And then where I had fun with the detail is in the glassware and in the napkin. So I'll show you that. Over here we've got some really nice crystal looking glasses, and then I played with the color. Again, I went with green and white, so I've got some white and green interspersed glassware. They're really cute and they make it a little bit more playful. And then for the napkin, how cute are these? I tied them to look like a little bunny. So every setting has a little bunny ear detail, and all it is really rolling a napkin and then tying it with a bow right here, pinching it together to make it look like this. Could not be easier. All I have left to do right now is light my candles. I'm gonna call Elvio back in, and then we'll be ready to sit down and eat. So I've recruited the chef into the dining room. We're gonna chat wines, but before we do, I just wanna say a special thank you to our sponsor, Darren Carmesino Wealth Management. And now we'll get into the good stuff.
So Jacovino gave us two wines that will go good with the lamb and with the pasta. And one of them was the Vermentino that we used in the lamb before.
Which is, I mean, it's nice to use the same wine you're cooking with. You should always cook with a good quality wine, so why not drink it also?
So we use a little bit in there because I find that it goes very well. But you don't have to actually pair it. If someone wants to drink white, they could. It goes very well with the lamb, with that lamb. But I think this one's going to be a better. Napassimento from Puglia. Okay, it's going to fit better with that dish. And it goes good. And you could even go back and forth. You could have this with the pasta and go with this with the lamb and vice versa. But
They all work well
Traditionally,
together.
they all work well together, you know?
So these two courtesy of Iacovino.
Yeah, Iacovino.
And that's it. And then we didn't cover desserts.
No.
But the thing is with Easter and desserts, you can break your head, make something, or you can go to your local Italian pastry shop and just buy the classics, right?
That's it,
So
yeah.
what are we
Like
talking?
the classic is a pastiera. And you could go to someone, everyone's doing the pastiera now. Some people are still doing cepole.
Yeah.
Some people are still doing like just general, you could do a colomba, you could buy a
Yeah.
colomba, you know, you could go buy a colomba, and that's very Easter. And, you know, there's enough stuff to be done. You don't have to go crazy making a dessert.
Right, and generally when you're hosting and you have people over, everyone's always asking you, what can I bring, what can I bring? Dessert is a very easy thing to kind of pawn off to someone
Exactly.
else. And in an Italian meal for Easter, it's the classics.
Yeah.
I wouldn't break my
I
head.
wouldn't break my head either.
Focus on the meal, focus on the appetizers, focus on the sides, and let the rest just
Enjoy.
enjoy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
enjoy it.
So we're gonna eat.
Yeah.
Buon appetito.
Bon appetito.
And before we end off, we just want to say a huge thank you to all of the sponsors who allowed for these episodes to be possible. And they include Darren Carmosino Wealth Management, Maison Lipari, FruitDome, Bono, Milano, Zinman, Le Creuset, Nini De Luca, Iacovino, BMW Laval, Saggio, Canadian Italian Community Foundation, JPMA, Ciot, Marina Del Rey, and Raymond Chabot Grant Thornton.